All right, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. We're going to get started here. So we have a lot to cover in the next 2 hours. Woo. We're going to go through this management training. This is an abbreviated management training course that I do at Entreport that is normally 6 weeks long. So we're going to do it in 2 hours or a little bit less, so we have time for questions. So this is going to be just very high level, okay? So let's start with kind of the big picture overview of what is management and what is your role in management. So out in the world, there are a lot of different employers, right? People can go and choose to work for whoever they want. They can go and choose to work for Walmart. They can go and choose to work at Starbucks as a barista. They can come and choose to work for me at Entreport. There's lots of opportunity for people, especially the good people, right? The good people, the very best people out there at every level, whether they're software engineers or they're customer support people or they're the office manager. And in fact, we actually have someone in our office that we call the office parent who is responsible for feeding us all. We have a catered meal program, and so he's responsible for making sure we're all fed all the time. And you know, he could get a job anywhere else, but he has come and worked for me at Entreport. Now, why would someone want to come work for you, right? This is the question you might want to ask yourself. Why would anyone, whether they're good or bad employee, want to come work for you? If it's to make you rich, that's not a good reason, right? That's a bad reason. Thank you. Yeah. Is it to, you know, feed their family? Well, that's probably why they got a job, right? Is so they could go get, you know, feed their family. Well, they could go get a job at Starbucks, right? They can go get one of those jobs anywhere. But why would they want to come work for you? What makes you so much better? What makes you so different? What makes you attractive, right? So we get, for every position we have available at Entreport, we get hundreds and hundreds of applicants. So many that it's impossible. We could not go through all of the resumes, and we don't. We actually do something entirely different. We don't even look at the resumes. We make people take skills tests and pass those skills tests before we even talk to them, before we even look at the resumes. But for every position, we get hundreds of resumes. For every one engineering position, we get 100 resumes, and only like 10 people ever pass that test, the engineering test. So we get the best people. That's what I think. If only 10 people out of 100, 10% of the people pass our test, I get the best people, right? But why do I get the best people? Very good. I have given them something more than just a paycheck. People, if you know, there's been study after study after study about this. People, when it comes down to it, what matters more to them than financial gain is a sense of appreciation and contribution. Those two things. Appreciation and contribution. Now, I'm going to add a third one that I just personally see time and time again. People like to see that there's something out there for themselves and their lives that is better than what it is today, right? Everybody wants to think that the future is better than today. And so, as leaders of your organization, now you're not business owners or entrepreneurs or managers, you're leaders. You're leaders in the community, You're leaders in your workplace. You're leaders for your team. As leaders, you can create these 3 things. 1, you can appreciate your staff by saying thank you. There's other things you can do. I'll tell you some of the things we do at Entreport, and this doesn't have to cost money. Thank you doesn't have to cost money. We have a weekly all-hands meeting, and even when we were 6 people, we had a weekly all-hands meeting. And we do something called shout-outs, where everybody just shouts out everybody else. You just raise your hand, someone helped you out, you say, I want to thank Tommy for helping me move my couch, stuff like that. I want to thank Joe for covering me while I was on vacation, whatever. Just like silly things. Lots and lots of silly things get shouted out, but we do that every week. We do shout outs. Sometimes the shout outs go on and on and on. I have to cut them off, right? Appreciation, that doesn't cost me any money, right? But it makes a big difference in the lives of the people that are there. We also have a wheel of fun. It's actually a wheel that spins like a Wheel of Fortune wheel. And I put little prizes on it. Over the years, these prizes have gotten bigger, but they were little prizes before, like a gas card for $35 and, Netflix account or something like that. And the person, for every shout out that happened that month, there's a little raffle ticket. Their name got put in a box. And I would pull their name out of a box, and that person would come on down, spin the wheel of fun, and they would get a prize, right? It just creates excitement and appreciation. I mean, we do a lot more stuff like that, but this isn't a big deal. This is making your staff feel appreciated and cared for, right? Just remember, thank you. That goes so far. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good work, good job. You think that I know it's their job to do it, but believe me, if you want the best people coming to work for you, thank you, right? Okay. So be creative. Think of other things you can do where you can appreciate your staff, right? Number 2, they want to see their contribution. So we're going to talk about this quite a bit in depth because this is the hardest part. I mean, saying thank you and planning these kind of fun little silly things, that's easy for you guys to do. You're all creative and you'll figure it out. But having your staff see their contribution is quite a bit harder, right? If Stuart, our office parent, who finds me wherever I am with my green tea, it's hard for him to see his contribution, right? Right? Yeah. He's probably like, yeah, I have to bring this lady her green tea. I'm running all over campus trying to find her. But no, he sees that, I don't have to stop what I'm doing, and he keeps me nourished and fed, and I'm doing, all of this stuff for everyone at Entreport, and he feels like he's enabling me. And he's enabling everyone. He feels so valued, and everyone's thanking him all the time. He's like so shouted out in the team shout-outs. He feels very valued, right? And he sees his contribution. He sees people happy and excited to see him. Every time he walks in the door, they're like, Stuart, right? Wouldn't you like to work in a place like that? Yeah, right? Okay. So showing people their contribution. So how they contribute is really important. So even little things from making the coffee to how the office is maintained to projects they're working on to how our customer calls are answered, all matter It really does. And we really talk about this a lot with our staff and explain in every single position how they're contributing to our vision and what we're up to in the world. Because it's not about making us rich. It's about we are on a mission. We are trying to create something in the world for other entrepreneurs, right? And we explain, we share with our employees about the entrepreneurial struggle, what y'all go through, what it's like, how hard it is, that you guys got into business, what you got into business for. And then you got to deal with technology and creating your website and who would have thought you were going to be a tech jockey, right? And then you have to figure out marketing and you're spending money and we explain the stats and that most of y'all go out of business at some point and you spent your life savings and it's crushing, right? Right? So we explain all of this to them and it touches them. Right? And they get it. And now their life is about service to y'all. And so when they pick up the phone and something isn't working right, they're committed. They're not like, oh God, another angry customer. We don't have angry customers. But they're like, oh God, another guy doesn't know what he's doing, doesn't know what right click is. We actually have people who don't know what right click is. But they don't go like, oh. But they're like, okay. They're like, so right click is this thing. They're patient because they understand. They have a different perspective now because we have shown them that when they come to work, their 9 to 5, their precious time during the day that they've contributed is not for the $15 an hour we pay them. It's for something more. Does that make sense? This is part of leadership. And the final piece, which isn't in any of the studies, is that, in my experience, the good people, the people you want working on your team, want growth. They want more for themselves in their lives. They want more for their families. They want, they want to see on their resume, higher titles and positions. They want, they want to move up in the world. They want more. And that's good for you because if they want more, they're going to contribute more. They're hungry like the fox, right? They want to take on more responsibility. They'll work nights and weekends. They'll do more, right? Those are the people you want on your team. And if they don't see a future for themselves that's better than what is happening today, they'll leave because they can get that future someplace else, right? So painting a future, creating a future for them, showing them what's possible for them is also part of your job. Leading them down a path. You're the leader, right? Leadership. Does that make sense to everybody? So, I don't know if anyone has defined leadership that way for you guys before, but as an entrepreneur, that's my definition of leadership. Those three things. So, in most businesses, I like this graphic. I think it's funny. In most businesses, this will sound familiar. You have the whole organization is set up as a triangle with the most creative thinking happening at the top with the leadership team, right? The CEO and the leadership people, right? And then those people at the top tell the middle management, this is what we're doing, right? And so that middle management, those middle management people will kind of execute on some different projects, right? And then the people at the bottom, they're the taskmasters, right? They're the ones doing the TPS reports. You guys know Office Space? No. Yes. All right. Watch that movie. It's so good. Okay. They're executing the TPS reports day in, day out. They're doing the same thing over and over and over again. And they just kind of reach this ceiling. There's no movement for growth. They're stuck, right? Because they're never, like, the most they can hope for is maybe stepping a toe into middle management, but they're never going to get to do projects, right? They're never going to ever get to the top, that creativity part. You know, the idea of climbing the corporate ladder? That doesn't really exist, right? No. So the best people, you know what they do? When they get to the top, they leave. They leave, and they come in at the next level someplace else, right? And then they get as high as they can, and then they leave, and they come in at the next level someplace else, and they get as high as they can. And that's how you climb the corporate ladder, right? That's actually what happens. So a different way, a better way, a more interesting way, and the way we do it at Entreport is we make everybody a triangle head. That's why I like the graphic. I think it's funny. All right, so everybody comes up with creative ideas. Everybody executes on projects, and everybody does the boring tasks, even me. And it's fair that way. And I know life isn't fair, and sometimes there's people have more of the business maintenance tasks. That's what I call it, the stuff at the bottom, than other people, and other people have more of the creative stuff at the top. That's just because they're better at it. You know what I mean? But everybody has it, and we try and keep it in balance as much as possible. And what that gives you is nobody hating their job, nobody wanting to leave for another opportunity because they have all the opportunity they want here, and all the best talent from all over the world seeing that we do it this way and wanting to come work for Entreport. So we get to pick and choose the very best people. Lucky us, right? And does this cost me anything? I mean, maybe a little bit of time and organization and coaching. I have to spend some time coaching people to start thinking this way. But if you have existing staff, that's the case. But they're hungry for it, right? And the people that can't quite make it there, they'll go work at Walmart. Not that that's bad. They'll go work there, and you'll replace them with someone who can think this way, right? Because you guys are a growing business. You need people who can grow with you too, right? So this isn't a normal management class, right? This is a little bit different. Management people, they're like, this is how you discipline people, right? We're going to talk about that too. But I just wanted to frame this conversation around what it really means to be a leader and how you then move into management from that position. Does that make sense? Any questions about this so far? Yeah.
Your experience with your business. Did you begin with this new model of management or leadership, or did you transition?
When I joined this organization, I was employee number 7, and I started it from day one when I joined there. I had it in place at my last organization, but I had transitioned it in there, which was quite a bit more challenging because that business had been around for 13 years. So it was much easier for all the new people that I brought on there, but the existing 13 people that worked there, it was like, the bane of my existence, to get them to move into this way of being. But they did, and they loved it. It just took quite a bit longer than I'd like. But at Entreport, I did it from day one. The CEO had no idea that I was doing it. And he's like, wait a second, after about 3 months, he's like, wait, what are you doing now? Tell me, explain what this is. And so I drew on a little napkin, we went and had a drink, and I drew on a napkin this little picture. And he's like, yeah, okay, I got it. So he was very excited about this possibility, because he saw the difference in his staff from, with those 6 people from 3 months earlier, right? Okay, so this is the model of how we, remember that triangle before. We have creative time, management time, task time. So this is how we break it up into our actual percentages of time during the day. 50% of our time is for business maintenance. That's our job description. It's what we were hired to do. And I like to refer to business maintenance as, treading water. It's what we do to keep the lights on. It's what we do. It's what we have to do, right? We have to answer the phones. We have to pay the bills. We have to do the accounting. It's just required. Right? You all have things in your life you have to do. It's business maintenance. And we try to limit it to 50% of our time. Now, there's lots of techniques you can do around time management. I'm not talking about any of that today. But we put every single one of our people through a course, so they're super organized and effective, which allows them to do their entire job in half their time. So this is really a reality for us. 50%, they can do their entire job in 50% of the time, which allows them 40% of their time for projects and 10% of their time for thinking like researching and reading and creative stuff, right? We have, for our creative department, like our video team and designers and stuff like that, that's our creative department. We have something, I know it sounds silly, Fun Fridays. That's what they do. We actually have a short Fridays. We only work half days on Fridays. So on Fridays, they do fun projects around the office. Like they try and make our office pretty with cool posters, and they make cool videos that are for no purpose other than to build our company morale, right? It's really cute and awesome that they want to give back to our internal community that way. But it's of their choice, right? It's Fun Fridays. Now, you think, okay, Fun Fridays, people are going to take off and go to the beach in Santa Barbara, right? But they don't. They're making posters, they're creating shadow boxes, they've made beautiful murals, right? And they're all working together to make it happen. Which, can you imagine, your team doing stuff like that? That's awesome. So that's what... I'm using an example. That's an extreme example of what they spend that time doing.
And those numbers are pretty much from the CEO to you, all the way down.
Yeah, all the way down. Yeah, and some people like our very entry-level people don't know what to do with their time. They're entry-level, right? So we have an apprenticeship program that we put them through that's on a set rotation that they apply for. And then they figure out what they can actually do, and they get trained. And because without that, they actually would watch YouTube videos. But that's only the very entry-level people, because they just don't know. They don't have enough direction. But the more senior people, I don't even say senior people, anyone who's not entry-level really is excited. Anyone who's ever had another job before is appreciative of this time. I can't even tell you. They're like, thank you so much. This is life-changing. And you know what else happens? Is people wake up in the morning excited to come to work. They get through their business maintenance so fast that they work on their projects, right? Because the business maintenance has to get done. This is the reason to get to work in the morning. This is like, we do project presentations whenever projects are complete, and the project team gets up at our company-wide meeting and shows their project, and they're all, they're proud. This is what we did. And, everybody claps for them, and this is a big deal for them. And, when the clients are using it, I've seen people cry about it. It's amazing. It's a touching experience internally to see all of this happen. And what also happens, which is pretty remarkable, which I actually didn't expect, is some of those people that were there in the very beginning, these punk kids have gone from being like customer support reps to being qualified professionals, like that could go get a job for twice as much as what we're paying them elsewhere. But they won't ever leave us, even if I tried to get them to leave. I've told them to quit a bunch of times, actually. But seriously, this one guy, he's actually our assistant product manager now. He was nobody before, like literally nobody. He could go to another software company and be a product manager and actually make double what we pay him. And he knows it. He knows it. He will never leave us, ever. Isn't that crazy? And he's probably better than any other product manager we would hire. But this is what you get within a little bit of an investment. It's not that much. It's just a little. It's a little bit of coaching, a little bit of organization.